Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted. I am your host, Roger Hunt. And tonight's episode, we're going to feature on another Atlantan company that does great things here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And right now, I have with me, sitting to my right, far right, is Miss Jade Rogers. I shouldn't forget that last name. And then Miss Cheryl Quartermeyer.
Yep.
Did I do that right?
You got it just right.
I did not chop it up. Well, welcome to Straight Talk with Roger Hunt, ladies. I appreciate you all coming on board. Here on the AIB Network, this telecast is going out to over 2 million households in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So hopefully and prayerfully, this will give you some additional exposure about your organization, which is the Corporate Volunteer Council in Atlanta. So thank you for being a part of the show. And again, part of what we do is Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted is to spread the word about up-and-coming organizations that have been around that's doing positive and wonderful things to help the community around the city. Okay, so again, thank you for being here. And Ms. J, I'm going to start with you first.
Okay.
Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with Corporate Volunteer Council.
Sure. Well, I am the Vice President of Business and Community Development at Delta Community Credit Union. Yep. So I oversee the Business and Community Development Department at Delta Community Credit Union. And we've been involved with the CVC as a company for about 3 years now.
Okay.
But I personally have been involved with the CVC for more than 10 years,
Wow.
about 12 years to be exact. And I started with the United Way of Metro Atlanta, where the CVC was initially housed.
Okay.
And so I was the nonprofit representative for United Way with the CVC.
Pretty busy, a long stint of 10 years. Wow.
Yes, long time.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And then what about you, Cheryl?
So I'm Cheryl Quartermeyer, and I'm the Executive Director of the Corporate Volunteer Council of Atlanta. And I've been in my role for about 4 years now. And I love this position because it marries my experience in both the corporate sector and the nonprofit sector.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
All
been
right.
terrific.
So this organization's been around since 1992. Okay. So tell us specifically what does, because when I saw the organization, I'm like, volunteers, corporate, what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, do you seek volunteers or the volunteers come to you, or what exactly, someone watching this, what exactly, your role, your mission?
Yes. So our mission is to support our member companies in their strategic commitment to employee volunteerism and civic engagement. So what does that mean? We are a membership organization for companies that either have or would like to have a corporate civic engagement strategy.
Oh, wow.
And that looks different at every company. It might be having or hosting volunteer activities every week year-round, or maybe it's once a quarter, having company volunteers go out into the community, or maybe it's through philanthropic dollars. So
Okay.
every company has its unique model.
So what type, kind of give us an idea of what type of activities are you, companies looking for to have taken care of?
You'll see some companies who are just starting out with their volunteer program. And so they might just want to coordinate a Saturday event where they're just going out to mulch trees in the neighborhood park. So they'll get about 5 to 10 volunteers with their kids, sometimes on the weekends. And then all they'll do is work with some other companies like Home Depot or the Tool Bank, who provides the tools so that they can go out there and mulch the gravel or the sand or the dirt in order to help with those trees and make them look vibrant in the parks. Or you might have some that are just serving meals to HIV or AIDS-infected patients. And so they might go to the homes and they'll prepare the meals and then deliver the meals. So it runs the gamut. So it's something for a one-day activity to volunteering with Habitat for Humanity, which takes the entire year, right? So you've got volunteers who sign up and they're committed to help build a house every Saturday for about 10 weeks or 12 weeks or however long.
Wow.
So yeah, it runs the gamut.
So an organization being around since 92, what was the true driving force to even create an organization like this? Because I'm like, someone to just do an organization to have volunteerism.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what was the driving force behind that, just to even do it?
So we are all about best practices.
Okay.
We are educators for those who are engaging their employees in the community. So we encourage companies to be strategic in how they're engaging. So, for example, some of our members that are utility companies might align their initiatives around serving families that have low income or senior citizens who might have challenges covering their utility bills, supporting those parts of the population. So the reason the CVC came to be is there were several community affairs professionals meeting informally, once a month, sharing,
a
sharing
networking event sort of type.
Yes, sharing stories from the trenches and asking each other how to do things better. And then it was announced that the Olympics were coming to Atlanta. So they said, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to band together and formalize this network that's been growing. So that's when they reached out to United Way, and United Way really helped incubate and get the CVC off the ground. And as Jay said, housed the CVC initially.
Because if you go back to the Olympics, it was at 19, I'm trying to see my age here. 1986.
It was 1996.
96.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
so
yep.
I thought that was a little bit earlier, but 86.
Yeah.
So 96, so 10 years later. Okay, so then you guys 92. So okay, that was great because of all the infrastructure that had to be done,
yes.
the arts and
Yes.
everything, trying to get everything spruced up.
Right.
Wow.
You got it. You got
So
it.
you did it then. So okay, so now is this organization, and I know it's Atlanta, but are you primarily in the Atlanta metro area?
We are a freestanding nonprofit organization, so we are based here in Atlanta and serve Metro Atlanta companies. But we informally communicate with other corporate volunteer councils in other cities. So it looks different in every city that has one. It really is based on what the community need is across the nation. But we have consulted with CVCs, from Seattle, Washington to Houston, Texas, and as far away as even Harare, Zimbabwe. So it's pretty outstanding.
Just to kind of say, how are you doing it? How's it working in your city? To get some feedback from, and again, that's good because, every city has its own various needs and analysis of what they have to have done. And based on what the community needs, and then that way the organization can help them out even more so.
That's right.
Well, that's great. You have that collaborative effort across the country and across the world.
Yeah, it is.
That matter. Wow.
Well, and it goes both ways because we like to share program ideas and best practices, and it makes it a lot easier when you have a nationwide network.
So now, since you're a standalone organization, how are you supported?
We are supported through membership dues. So all of our corporate members pay dues to be part of the CVC network.
Okay.
And then we also have sponsorship opportunities around special programs that we put on. Probably the best known is our annual Impact Awards, and many sponsors come on board to make that possible and also to support our programming throughout the year.
So about how many members do you have that's part of the organization that you can think of?
Right now, we have about 85 corporate members, and we also have 15 nonprofit member partners who apply to be part of the CVC each 2-year cycle.
Okay, so that was going to be one of my questions too. So the process of coming on board, what does that take? What's entailed in that to become a member?
Some people will just pick up the phone and call Cheryl because they've seen footage. It could be around a Facebook program or something on television, or they know somebody who's attended the Impact Awards.
Wow.
Or this great piece here, the Atlanta Business Chronicle, we have a great partnership with them where they will include an insert leading up to the Impact Awards. Actually, it's distributed on the day.
Okay.
And it's about, 12 pages? And it has all of the different stories, but highlights about what companies are doing here in Atlanta around volunteerism. So many companies will see this, and whether their executive team or even somebody who's over HR, they'll ask why they're not in here. And want to know.
Right.
They want that exposure. Just can't be left out.
Right.
It's great exposure, and they'll pick up the phone and they'll reach out to Cheryl and they'll ask her how they can become a member.
So, talk a little bit more about the Impact Award. What is that specific? Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's an annual fundraising event. It's our largest fundraising event. And we recognize companies who are doing great work in the community for that year. So whether they are doing work just in and of itself as a company, or if they're partnering with other companies on an event or an activity. Say, for example, Habitat for Humanity. Some people can't get enough volunteers in order to build a house by themselves. So they might reach out to a client of theirs, a vendor of theirs, or another like company, so accounting firms or law firms, in order to work on that project together. So it's business-to-business type relationships. And so what we do is recognize those companies by giving them a beautiful award every single year and talk about that partnership. We also recognize companies who are partnering with nonprofit organizations. So how best are those companies making an impact on the beneficiaries of their respective organizations? And so whoever has the greatest impact or meeting the needs of the community, we like to recognize those companies and nonprofits as well.
So what's the feedback from, besides getting their name in this great publication here? I mean, how do the organization, they perceive this as a great, hey, civic involvement in what they're doing with you guys?
I think it's a very civically minded community, but also very competitive community.
Very much so.
Wow.
It is.
I was going to say, because I'm looking at some of these companies in here, I was
yes.
like, wow, these are some top corporations and listed in this newspaper.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's like, if my name is not on here, you're mud. You got to be in here. And then it's like, who can outdo who?
Right.
But on a spiritual loving level, that, not that you're going to be, but again, competition is good.
Yeah, but it's competition to do good.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly
Yes.
that.
Yes, that's what it is. And Cheryl has received several messages or emails from people who were saying, my CEO received this and they want to know why we're not a part
Right,
of it.
right, exactly.
How can I get it? Where's mine at? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just really good. And Atlanta is, as Cheryl mentioned, is a very giving community.
Mm-hmm.
We always have been. We're hoping that we'll always continue to be. And so we do work very, very closely with one another so that we look at what the needs are here in Metro Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And some companies are meeting those to a T. Others are wanting to be a part of it. And so, one good thing that we always pride ourselves on here at the CDC of Atlanta is that even if companies are competing with one another for business,
Right.
they are working together with one another in order to drive and really help the community at large.
Because it is all about the community and then the organization responsibility too, in helping grow Atlanta. That's what you're really doing here too.
Right,
So,
right, yeah.
So if one company is hurting, in a sense, depending on what it is the need is, again, like you say, you can prosper and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share too, I just returned from the National Conference on Volunteering and Service, and they shared at that conference that when a company invests in volunteerism, they recognize benefits in the amount of $2,400 per employee when they invest in volunteering. So it makes sense for the bottom line too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And another good point also is it's a great recruiting tool for new employees. And so a lot of students just graduated from college, they're looking at companies to find out which ones are actually invested in different communities and are seen as being really involved in the communities where they do business. So we're looking at them and they're looking at us too, and they're evaluating where they want to work.
So which leads to the next question, you talk about the corporate, responsibility and everything. So how did it really help to their bottom line by having volunteers on board?
Well, I think to Jay's point, it helps really not only with attracting top quality talent, but also retaining those employees. And when you are able to attract and retain an employee that's doing a good job, it saves the company money because when they have a lot of turnover, obviously they're having to invest a lot in the hiring process,
Right.
And training and all those good things. And some other benefits that they might find are the professional development that volunteers gain when they're volunteering, especially if it's skills-based volunteering. So, for example, if you take an IT professional from a company, it doesn't matter if it's a law firm or a marketing firm, and send that IT professional in to help a nonprofit build their database or help build some of their infrastructure, they're getting on-the-job training, and they're also showing leadership in building.
Join us here on the AIB Network Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. for a Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted. Host Roger Hunt will explore the lives of others in many arenas of our society with discussions that will inform, inspire, encourage, and enlighten those who we interact with in our daily lives. Featuring hot topics in the news, experts in their field, intimate interviews, and great entertainment. Join us for Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted on the AIB Network Thursday nights at 8:30.
Tell us about the historical events that you all have done that's been most memorable for the organization in Atlanta, besides the Olympics, coming in '96. But what other historical milestone testimonials that you all can tell us about?
Well, I know when we had our 20th anniversary, which was just several years ago, we were so proud to celebrate, and we had Governor Nathan Deal come speak at our Impact Awards, and that was really special. But we also, at one of our inaugural Impact Awards, had General Colin Powell speak.
Oh, wow.
So that program got off to quite a start, as you can imagine.
Wow.
So every year we're trying to raise the banner a
And
little
you can
higher.
do a little bit higher and higher.
Yes.
So now talk about the points of light.
Sure. So, Points of Light is an organization that was actually sparked by George Bush, President George Bush, number 41. So George H.W. Right. And so it really was an initiative that started to support and encourage volunteerism in whatever way you want to give back. So there is an organization that's basically housed here in Atlanta. It's headquartered here in Atlanta, but also has a branch in Washington, D.C., Points of Light. And they are also affiliated with the Hands-On Network, which is an organization that actually does the matchmaking between people who want to volunteer and give back and the organizations that need that support. So Points of Light has many different layers, and then they also host that conference I mentioned, the National Conference on Volunteering and Service.
See, honestly, when I hear all the different organizations that I meet and talk and discuss various things, I say, well, I want to be a part of that organization. I want to be part of that organization.
Yes, I know. There's so much.
I already got enough on my plate already, but it's like,
right.
But it sounds so exciting, to hear and see what you guys do. The Seeds of Service. Can you tell us about that?
The Seeds of Service. This is, I'm not sure if the title existed before we had placed this on the cover of another insert, but this was for Atlanta Magazine, which is it's kind of a lifestyle magazine here in Atlanta. It's pretty thick. It's one of those that has like the best of, best restaurants, best car wash, best anything like that. So last year at this time, we worked with the Atlanta Magazine staff in order to get information about the CVC in this Atlanta Magazine publication, and it was for December, so it was in their best of the year publication. And so this way they were able to see not only all the great things about Atlanta, but in addition to that, they could see the best of Atlanta when it comes to volunteerism. So the Seeds of Service highlights a lot of the good works similar to Impact in this insert that we were doing.
Another spotlight for the organization, another testimony as to what you guys do and how you service not only through your corporate partners, but then those who come in through the corporations and volunteer and doing great works for the various organizations and the people of Atlanta as well.
Definitely. And the readership here is different because this one is geared more towards the business community, and this is towards, somebody who might pick it up in the hair salon, or they might pick it up in the local grocery store. But
they see it. And here again, if they're picking the magazine up in the stores and if they don't see their organizations being a part of that, that's another way to trigger. We got to get in this. Why aren't we in this? Same thing. And same thing with this one too.
Yes.
For corporations and leaders. And individuals, those are great marketing tools that you have to get the word out. And speaking of marketing, how else do you, sometimes people, they know about you and sometimes they don't. How do you get the word out about your organization?
Well, I definitely think we're one of Atlanta's best kept secrets until today's interview. This is, I think, probably going to change a lot for us. But really, we rely on a lot of person-to-person marketing. So our members are our best advocates. And then we also are very active in the community. We're part of the Metro Atlanta Chamber. Our members are ambassadors for us wherever they go. If they meet new business contacts or if they're having conversations about what's working well in the industry with other industry players, they are free to share about the CVC. And I think that's really another nice feature of the CVC is it's a place where competitors in similar industries do come together side to side and share best practices.
So what is a typical membership cost to join?
Well, I think we are a great value, and I know you'll agree, Jay, but we base our membership dues on number of employees in the Metro Atlanta market. So if you have less than 100 employees, your rate would be $400 per year. And then we go on up to more than 5,000 in the Metro Atlanta market, and that would be $700 a year.
So that's part of the way of to support the organization. And then on the other hand, do you all accept various donations from outside private funds as well? I mean, is that a way of...
We're certainly exploring that, yes.
If someone wanted to do that, because here's what happens, someone seeing this broadcast and say, I may want to give more to the organization just because of the good work that you're doing, or getting the message out about how to volunteer and kind of get and gather corporate participation involved. So someone may just want to do that, whether or not you as an individual, or you may have other companies outside the entity that may decide that they want to give too, although they may not can be a part of it, but sometimes philanthropists that's out there that just want to contribute because they have the spirit of giving, they just might want to do that.
Well, I certainly think it's a mission that lots of people can believe in, and we would definitely welcome contributions from the community. And we have lots of great programs that we offer that are both supporting those that have employee volunteer programs and that are inspiring companies that are heading in that direction. So one of the best programs I think that we offer every couple of years is an Employee Volunteer Program 101. And that's definitely to help people get a program off the ground and figure out what structure they need to make that happen. So that's a really great program to invest in.
So besides, you mentioned Facebook earlier. Okay, is there a website that people can post for you as well?
cvcofatlanta.org, and you can find out about our upcoming programs there, about membership, and about those who are currently participating.
Okay. And now, how can our viewers help? How can they help the CVC out? How can they help you guys out? What's the best way for them?
Well, in addition to the website, they can also go on Twitter. We have a Twitter handle as well as the Facebook handle. And if you want to look at CVC of Atlanta, they can find us there. And so they can look at how we need support. But then basically, just to reach out to us, find out if your company is a part of it already, or if they have or are interested in starting an employee volunteer program, to give us a call. That would be great.
And companies of all sizes are welcome. So while we have many Fortune 500 companies that are members of the CVC, small consulting firms are also members. And when they share ideas and what's working for them in their workplace, it's amazing to see, a Home Depot have a light bulb moment when a small person from a marketing firm says, here's what we're doing in our workplace. So it's pretty cool.
So share those ideas, share the corporate love, share the ideas.
That's right.
Okay, and anything that you all want to tell us, share with our viewers, anything other than what we've already discussed, anything specific that...
Well, I would just say, again, no matter what your company size, there's a place for you when it comes to giving back in the community, whether it be aligning with the direction of your company, or whether it be just giving back to a cause that's near and dear to your heart. I think doing that through the workplace is a really great way to give back.
There you go.
In addition to that, if you just are watching and you have a question about what great things your company is already doing, but you want to be more strategic, so lots of companies will already contribute to the community. Some might just, depending on their employees, if they're doing a 5K walk and they walk around the company and they'll say, hey, can you sponsor me for $5 or $100? Or if somebody on their team, if they have experienced an illness, and so then all of a sudden they want to support the Diabetes Foundation, or somebody's child is part of the Girl Scouts or something like that, and they're asking for contributions like that. That will always happen. There's a lot of that type of fundraising going on within the community. But if a company is looking at being more strategic based on their mission and wanting to support organizations that align with their mission, but don't quite know how to pull all of that together, this is a great way to get involved, because then we teach you if, like, for example, Delta Community Credit Union, we're a financial institution, so our role is to help households manage their finances in a responsible manner. So, of course, we're interested in financial literacy programs and helping young people around junior achievement and how they can start to understand what it means to open up a checking account, save for college, save for prom. So we're looking at investing in organizations that are around financial literacy and helping families become a stronger unit. And so if you're looking at something like that, this is a great way to figure out, okay, how do I do that strategically? And we've got so many different nonprofit organizations that are asking us for contributions year round. We can't say no to everybody. So if we want to say yes, how do we do that to not only give back to the community, but also, it's a great way for them to learn more about the company itself.
You guys do so much.
We try.
So much. And it's just amazing that an organization that was started, just on the principle of companies come together, people, ideas, talking and speaking, that you have evolved to such a great institution in helping so many people, because Atlanta is huge. Huge.
It is huge.
Yes.
It's also a really big small town, so I think the more we can come together and support one another, the stronger and more powerful we become.
Well, you guys are definitely doing it through your Corporate Volunteer Council organization. You're definitely making an impact.
Thank you.
The organizations
love that
that
word.
are part of your membership are definitely making an impact, and then the members that come out and volunteer. not only helping themselves gain better knowledge and then learning and working together is definitely making an impact on this metropolitan area. And then again, the collaboration that you have with other volunteers and groups across the country and around the world is kudos and much love and props to that as well, because you just never know what ideas can be shared from, speaking and reaching out to others. You may be trying something and just knowing that this one's working over here, just try it, and again, it works. Usually it ends up working. You're trying, instead of reinventing the wheel.
Right.
Hey, we're already doing this here. Why don't you just try it just to see if it helps, work. So, but thank you, ladies. Jay Rogers,
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Cheryl Kettlemeyer.
So nice to meet you.
Got
Courtmeyer,
that.
yes, sir.
Courtmeyer. I'm gonna get it
It's
right.
a tongue twister.
Yeah, but it's you know what? I'm good for chopping names up.
Well, this has been terrific. Thanks so much for having us today.
You're so welcome. Glad that you're able to come on tonight and talk about the organization. Okay. So there you have it. The Corporate Volunteer Council here of Atlanta, Georgia. If your company isn't part of it, hey, look them up, because you got to find out now if your company is part of this great organization. And if not, you got to get online. You got to get signed up. So don't get left out, and your corporation not being part of this great, magnificent. This is Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted. I am your host. Until the next time that we meet and see you, have a great one and take care of yourselves and of each other.
Join us here on the AIB Network Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. for a Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted. Host Roger Hunt will explore the lives of others in many arenas of our society with discussions that will inform, inspire, encourage, and enlighten those who we interact with in our daily lives. Featuring hot topics in the news, experts in their field, intimate interviews, and great entertainment. Join us for Straight Talk with Roger Hunt Unscripted on the AIB Network Thursday nights at 8:30.